Welcome back to New Script on the Block. I am Ashley Hakes, and with me today is Nero Manalo from Arizona Studios. And yes?
I was gonna make a joke, but It's all good.
Are you sure?
Hi guys, my name is Nero Manalo, and I am also one of the hosts. I'm co-hosting.
Yes.
Hi. Hi, listeners.
We're coasting together.
Coasting? We're coasting.
We're co-hosting. We're coasting together.
Costco sponsorship. Gas prices are low. Anyway,
with us today is Kennedi Martin, and we are going to be reading her script, Moniker.
Hi,
Hello.
Kennedi.
Hello.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, who are you?
Oh God, I hate that question. I guess I'm a filmmaker primarily, though. I am a video editor, which is my main thing. But I also really love writing scripts, and I've been doing it for quite a while. And then this one is one that I wrote like a really long time ago. So, fair warning, it's kind of very terrible.
It really isn't, though.
You'll
I
see
mean, we'll get into
like,
it,
yeah.
but
It's just your progression.
yeah.
Okay, I'll say that. Like, the things that I've written now are considerably better than this.
Cool. I mean, you only get better every time, so
That's true.
yeah. No, this is a good start to your writing process.
A couple of things. I'm going to go with the first one that comes to mind. Being that this is an older script, is there a reason why you wanted to explore this one at this time? Is this a story that you wanted to kind of come back to and maybe, change up with the notes that we kind of give it or anything like that? Is there a reason why we're coming back to the script? I'm just wondering. I'm curious.
There kind of is. So one of them is I really want to see how much I've progressed because I haven't read this since I sent it to you guys. That and also because it's a post-apocalyptic film, and I have a weird knack for writing post-apocalyptic films, and I've got one that's currently in the works. So I'm wondering, what can I learn from this that I can apply to the one that I'm currently working on?
Mm-hmm. Cool. I mean, I know you're a fan of the Fallout series, so I can really see this script being a part of that world.
Why'd you say that so quietly? Be proud.
I know, right?
Are you like, secretly?
Okay, well, I definitely have a thing for post-apocalyptic.
Oh, well, and BioShock too.
Yeah, BioShock. This
Yeah.
one was actually, based off of Borderlands.
Really? Oh, okay.
Because this was also the very, very first short film that I'd ever actually, produced.
Mm.
So this is somewhere floating on YouTube that...
Wait, this has already been,
Yeah.
It's
so
there?
It was...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Shoot.
No, we're
We're
not
gonna
going to
have
go
to
find
find
it.
So, listeners, if you go to YouTube, try to find, type in Moniker / Kennedi Martin. Is there another name? Did
Kennedi
you give
with
it
an
another
I.
name?
I did not give it another name.
So it is Moniker.
It is Moniker.
On YouTube.
Correct. But the problem is the original script does not match what is actually in the film.
Got it.
Because things went very, very wrong.
Uh-oh.
By very wrong, I mean I lost 90% of the audio. And also it's just very terrible because that was my first time actually being an editor.
Mm.
So it's kind of terrible on all fronts.
Well, I mean, like we said earlier, you keep getting better the more that you do things. So I'm sure you're a million times better now.
I would very much hope so. I mean, I did actually go back and watch it when I sent you the script, and I am considerably better.
Oh, okay,
so
good.
That's at least something I've got going for me.
Yeah, that's good. Cool.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, let's kind of, I'm excited to get into the script.
The guidelines for this podcast is to give comments and critiques to help improve or rethink things that you may not have thought of before. We're here to think positively about the script and not to discourage or criticize your ideas. You can take them or leave them, and it won't hurt our feelings if you don't take them or, anything like that. we ask the writers to critique themselves, and maybe if there's something that you want us to kind of focus on, of like, well, I really don't think the dialogue is that great. Can you help me out? We're all here to help each other and learn from each other.
Yes.
I'm not good at this.
No. So let's start off real quick of your log line, since we got through with the guidelines. I am not jumping ahead of myself.
So my logline I literally pulled from way back when I wrote it. So after a deadly virus kills most of humanity, a young explorer sets out to complete her sister's journey to find a cure.
Nice.
That is a fresh.
I like it.
Straight to the point.
Oh yeah, no, it's like there's no sugarcoating it. It's like, all right.
Well, I mean, it is a very short script. I feel like there's no need to.
Yeah.
I made hand motion.
Yes, of course.
There's no need to wiggle your hand back and forth.
Correct. Yes.
For our listeners. Yeah.
So Kennedi is a character, Ruby. Is there any little details you want to give about her? We can explore that now, or, we can read it and then we'll find out.
We could probably just read it
and find out.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. So if you're Ruby, Ash, I know you like shiny rocks. So would you like to be Philippa? No, Jules. Would you like to read for the character Jules?
Sure.
All right, and I guess I'll be
There's also a Wells later.
Philippa?
Is it Philippa? Philippa? How do you pronounce that? Philippa. Okay.
All right.
I was like 80% sure that Philippa, or Wells is Philippa's last name. Oh no, Wells is just
Is another person that
correct.
they...
I can read for that one.
Okay, so
Okay.
you'll
So,
be
like,
Ruby and Wells.
A
and
half line. Yeah.
There's a couple of lines in there.
Yeah.
That sounds good. All right.
As long as I'm like not talking to myself, which will happen actually.
Hi, Kennedi. Hello, Kennedi.
Just do different voices, well, slightly.
I
Oh
mean,
no, that's not gonna end well for anybody.
So diving motion towards paper
yes.
for our listeners.
We're going to dive right in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this. On you.
Oh my god. Fade in, exterior wasteland, day. Jules Vernon, a young explorer, lies dead on the ground. Starting from her worn-out boots, the camera pans up her body, revealing a bloody abdomen, bloody hand, and her bloody face with eyes wide open. Cut to begin flashback. Jules is walking through the desert carrying a backpack and a water canteen. She stops walking to take a drink. After putting her drink away, she pulls out a map and a compass. She puts them back in her bag and begins walking again. As she walks, she pulls out a recorder and it begins to play a message from her sister, Ruby Vernon. As Jules is walking, she passes little parts of humanity, including dead bodies. Oh no. Ruby, voiceover. This is Dr. Ruby Vernon. The date is September 4th, 1834. This is test number 47. I've attempted to isolate the virus within subject Z, but once again...
Doing doctor stuff again?
Jules, you can't be in here.
Afraid I'll ruin your precious research.
I'm serious. Get out of here. There's a sound of movement and Jules' laughter.
Come and get it.
There's more commotion and the recorder getting clicked off. The recorder makes another noise and another recording begins. Jules, I know by the time you wake up, I'll be... She takes in a deep breath and begins to choke on her voice. Dad, I've succeeded in making a cure, but there's only enough to save one of us. You need to go to a surviving town, give them the cure and mass produce it. I love you, Jules. There's more coughing and silence. The sound of a door creaks open. There's shuffling and the recorder clicks off. In the distance, Jules sees a lone figure. She blinks and looks around. There is no one else around. Jules looks back to the figure in the distance and sees the figure wave. The figure begins to move towards Jules. The figure is Philippa Kraft, a traveling inventor. She's fully weaponized and carrying a large backpack. She sticks her hand out to Jules.
Hey there, I'm Philippa Kraft.
Jules and Philippa shake hands.
Hi, Jules Vernon.
Nice to meet you. What are you doing way out here?
Both start walking in the desert.
Are you a survivor?
Survivor of what?
The Pippa virus.
They stop walking.
Sorry, I've never heard of it. I'm always traveling. In fact, I'm headed to Carson.
Do you know how far it is?
A day's walk, maybe.
Mind if I join you?
Not at all.
Philippa and Jules begin walking again. They continue to walk together. They come upon some abandoned ruins. Interior mountain camp day. Philippa and Jules come upon an abandoned campsite. As they walk through the camp, they see several dead bodies. They inspect the bodies as they scour the camp.
What the hell happened here?
The virus. It was here.
While Jules isn't looking, Philippa steals a gun off a dead body and tucks it into her belt.
What does it do?
It causes extreme aggression in the subject before killing them.
They destroyed each other?
Usually how it goes.
If that's the case, let's hope there are no survivors.
They continue to walk through the camp and hear a groaning noise. Jules grabs Philippa's arm. Philippa gives her an expression that means, "What?" Jules presses her finger to her lips. She doesn't see Philippa fiddling with her gun. There's another soft groaning noise. Jules lets go of Philippa and moves towards the sound. Lying on the ground is Wells with a significant wound to the abdomen.
She's still alive.
Jules runs to Wells with Philippa close behind. "Help me, please help me." Jules fumbles with her bag and brings out a bandana. She presses it to Wells' stomach.
You're going to be okay.
Hang on. How do we know she's not infected?
It's only transmittable through bodily fluids. Did any of them bleed on you? Bite marks? Anything?
Wells coughs up blood. "My brother, he attacked me and I shot him."
So there's a possibility she's infected.
We don't know that.
She turns to Wells and opens her mouth to speak. Wells reaches out with both hands and grabs onto Jules, forcefully drawing her close. "It's her.
What?
You can't trust her." Wells lets go of Jules.
What did she say?
Jules plays calm.
Nothing. Just nonsense. Keep pressure on this, okay?
Jules digs through her pack and pulls out a vial.
What is that?
Jules looks up at Philippa.
Before she died, my sister manufactured a cure.
She turns to look back at Wells.
Does it work?
It cured me.
Jules uncorks the bottle and then hears a click of a gun safety. Jules freezes.
I can't let you do that.
Jules slowly turns around to stare up at Philippa. The gun is only a few inches from her face.
What are you doing?
You can't give that to her. I won't let you.
She's dying.
She holds up the vial.
If I don't give this to her...
Philippa shoots Jules in the hand and she screams, clutching it to her chest. The vial lies empty on the ground. Philippa aims and shoots Wells in the head. Jules is looking up at Philippa in terror. She aims her gun at Jules, who squeezes her eyes shut. There's a soft click, but no gunshot. Jules looks up and sees Philippa staring at her gun in anger. She chucks it away and attempts to pull another gun from her belt. Jules takes the opportunity and gets up. She takes off running.
Hey!
Philippa bolts after Jules, who is running as fast as she can. She manages to lose Philippa and hide behind some boulders. She waits for a moment, but there is silence. Jules takes a deep breath and holds out her bloody, shaking hand. She sinks to the ground, crying and shaking. There's a rock that falls from above her. Jules freezes and looks up. She sees Philippa's figure, but Philippa does not see Jules. Jules backs up, but slips on a rock and falls. Philippa hears this and looks down. She sees Jules. Jules begins to run, and Philippa leaps down from the ledge. She lifts her gun and fires. Jules falls to the ground screaming. She turns herself over, trying to get away. Philippa slings closer until she's directly above Jules.
I don't understand. Why? Why are you doing this?
Philippa lifts her gun and fires.
Why not?
The end.
This podcast is brought to you by Arizona Studios. Arizona Studios, a full-service video content specialist. We're here to illuminate your message and compel your audience to take the right action. For more information, head to our website at arizonastudios.com and be sure to tune in for more content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
I like that it abruptly ends, but I feel like because we didn't have time to really, I'm trying to think of how to consolidate my thoughts I want to know more about how the virus got, the way that it did, how long it took people to realize this is what was happening. But it's I like that we don't get all that information because it's a short story, but I want to know more. Like, you know, I'm greedy. I want to know all the information. Like, I want to know exactly, you know, why this is happening and, you know, all that. But I do like that it is just on these characters that we only get to, you know, really spend a little bit of time with, and I don't know. I like it. in short, like, you know, I don't know what much more to really like say as far as critique. I mean, I think the structure of how it was written could be tightened up a little bit more, but that's like the physical part of it, of the script, not necessarily like the story part of it. Does this make sense?
It does make sense. I mean, honestly, I think if I were ever to revisit this, I guess rewrite it, then I would actually try to make this longer. Just because I feel like there wasn't a lot of character development in here, like, at all. You just kind of see a 180 from Philippa.
Right.
Which I didn't realize that's what happened until I reread it right now, so.
Yeah. But, I mean, we don't have any, as the audience, we don't have any attachment to her. If anything, we have more attachment to Jules because we do know she had a sister. She was cured. But Philippa, we can give two shits about her because we don't really know her that much. But yeah, you could go in more depth about it to make it longer. But I don't know. Sorry.
Cool. All right. Sorry. I'm tagged in. All right. One of the things that people tend to do when it comes to world building is to write rules of that world. That can definitely help you out in terms of like cause and effect of certain actions or certain events or certain narrative devices. For this one, for instance, so Jules was infected at one point, and her sister Ruby, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cured her, but she has one cure thing left, right? Is that the only one in existence? Is she the only one who possesses this cure at the moment? Like, sorry if I'm missing some things, but that's just my initial impression of the script is like the rules of the cure itself and also the rules of the virus itself. Like, so was Philippa, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask this to you as the writer, was Philippa infected?
Yes.
Okay, she was infected.
Ooh.
What?
Hang on, I got my names confused. No, Philippa is not infected.
So Philippa is not infected.
Correct.
So you're playing with the fact where Philippa is taking advantage of this new world, the new rules of the world where people get infected and they become extremely aggressive and kill whoever, right, before they die.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Philippa is just taking advantage of that, and she's going out and, you know, tagging along with other survivors and eventually killing them for, I'm guessing, resources, or, I mean, she does. I like the last line, like, obviously that's very impactful, where Jules, after being betrayed and is about to die, she asks, why are you doing this? You know, you don't, maybe in her head, I'm getting the impression that it's like, hey, you're not infected. I can tell because, you know, you came at me friendly. Why are you doing this in this world where, you know, there's only a few survivors out there, if any, right?
Yeah.
And that she says, why not? I think that's pretty, like, crazy, right? For Philippa to be doing this. And, like, I just wanted to know if there is any more hints that we can allude to that, because that is a nice little twist. And I don't want to completely, like, dilute it or, like, get rid of it. Like, I like that. So...
Well, it's like when she picks up the gun, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, that could be useful. But is it useful against Jules, or is it useful against other people that they come across? Like Wells. Like, what if she decided to go all crazy and she used it on Wells, but not on Jules. So it's like, you know, she could have been something more.
Or maybe.
Or well, I don't know if that's the right phrasing I want, but.
Well, I think that's also why, if I were to revisit this, I would flesh out her character more, because I want to give more hints of like, she's a real sociopath. She's doing this because she thinks it's fun and it's because that's what she wants to do versus it's a survival necessity for her.
Yeah.
So I think I just wanted to show like, yeah, with the gun, like she's justifying it by like, oh yeah, we could use it to defend ourselves.
They're clearly not using it anymore
Right.
because they're dead, so might as well take it.
There's like with that instance where she takes the gun, you can always explore you know, Jules' reaction to that if she's seeing it, like, and then it's like, you know, hey, it's like she's hold on, I had some good thoughts about this. Okay, hold on, let me backtrack a little bit and just kind of like explore maybe some things that Philippa can do to Jules herself, like that can kind of hint to having a sociopathic personality, right? For example, like if she sees like a lizard or something, that she kicks it, like why, you know? But that's just her versus like something that's very tiny. Maybe maybe Jules won't see anything of that, but it's like, oh, what? That's mean, you know. But it's not too crazy, you know. Maybe she sees a spider and Jules sees a spider and she's like, oh my gosh, yikes, it's rare or whatever, but you know it's dangerous. And then Philippa just goes ahead and stomps on it, you know. There's this power dynamic you're hinting at where she doesn't care for life, you know.
Whether it being as small as a spider or as common as a human.
Yeah. So those are just little hints that you can probably explore. This is another one that I just kind of thought of. If you wrote this to show more of a journey and progression, you can show like anytime Jules like stumbles or hurts herself or like, you know, slides down the cliff when they're both climbing, Philippa could laugh or something. It's like, even though she didn't get super hurt, it was still scary for her, but then Philippa thought it was, you know, funny. And just those little interactions that don't really hint like I'm the obvious villain or I'm obviously like this crazy person, but you're hinting that this person has a certain personality that disregards or thinks like, you know, thinks little of. You get what I'm going at, right? I'm sorry, I'm losing my words. Just those little things could really like build up Philippa, so it's not like a crazy 180, you know.
I mean, unless you want to keep it the crazy 180, then it's like,
obviously.
I mean, I would prefer not to keep it the crazy 180 just because I do want some kind of hint that she's not entirely who she seems to be.
She's a couple of fries short of a Happy Meal.
Yes.
I like that. Include that in your script somehow.
All right, yes.
How about this? I just thought of this right now. Obviously, Wells had an interaction with Philippa, right?
Yes.
Because Wells knew what Philippa actually was. There could be a certain deal that could have been made between Philippa and Wells that Wells was going to be used as bait. So Philippa's like, hey, if you play this, like, Wells obviously can't like do much. Like, let's really fuck up Wells. But Philippa kept her alive, stating, hey, I'm gonna, you know, you're gonna be my distraction when I do bring, you know, survivors this away and we're gonna see you, you know.
Yeah.
And that Wells, like, you know, is being taken care of by Jules is in fact her role for Philippa. And maybe Wells, like, you know, you can always extend this interaction like a couple of days or a day at least or a night, where Wells is trying to let Jules know.
Hey, Philippa's a dangerous
You need
person.
you need to get away from her.
But keep it subtle, and you can play with that. Like, what's motivating Wells? If this is a whole survival situation, what's motivating Wells to keep Jules alive? Because she's already keeping herself alive by letting Philippa do her thing. So you can just play with those types of motivations. I hope that makes sense.
That makes complete sense.
Okay.
I like that dynamic too of playing the master and the puppet type of relationship.
Because playing off of that, if you did make it longer, you could do I'm hurt, and then Jules goes up to her and is trying to fix her wounds, but there are no wounds. She's not supposed to see that she's not really hurt. She's just supposed to distract. So it's do you know what I mean?
You gave me an idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw your face, and you gave a face of confusion. Oh.
No,
but it's and then that's when she could say, don't trust her. And then she's like, wait, what? And then that's, that whole interaction could just be elongated into something oh man, she really isn't hurt. Wait, why is she saying don't trust her? Is someone here? I heard something.
I did hear something but I'm too scared to open that door.
Oh my
gosh.
What
the idea that you gave me when you were talking was damn it, don't lose it, Nero. Grab it, hold on to it. Okay, I got it. When they find Wells, even if she's battered to shit or whatever, her wounds could look like there was an attempt to keep her alive. But it's just, put a Band-Aid on it kind of situation. Okay. That Philippa literally did the bare minimum to keep someone alive, just so that they find her alive, to lower whoever's guard down.
Yeah.
And that's adding to the psycho nature of Philippa. She's very, very, very manipulative, and is willing to do really gross things in order to have more prey come in, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this is the start of every Criminal Minds episode I've ever seen.
Mindhunter.
Right.
I also noticed that we know about the virus, but we don't ever see it in action, huh? Right. Is that something that you just don't it's like a presence that's there, and it's cool that it's kept as a presence that is not again, these are your rules of the world, but we don't see that interaction because those rules of the world created this narrative where that doesn't even matter because other people are just as dangerous even if they're not infected.
Yeah. I kind of like those stories where the main cause of all of this is just in the back of everyone's mind, and it's oh no, it's just humans being animals.
Have you seen It Comes Out at Night?
I have not, because if it's a horror, I probably haven't seen it.
You should see that movie, because it's very similar. And, I'm just going to say this, listeners, doesn't matter if you feel oh man, this idea that I have as a writer has already been done. Don't let that stop anyone,
If that were the case, we wouldn't have a lot of things.
Exactly. But if you watch It Comes Out at Night, it's in a post-apocalyptic world where there is this sickness, this illness, and it's very dangerous. I don't think we're ever told what it actually does. It's just that it's dangerous, right? And it's the whole survival mentality. Who do I trust? All that jazz. So give that a go if you ever get a chance. The trailer looks scary. It's not scary.
Okay.
Do you like scary movies?
No, I hate them. With all my heart and soul.
Me too. I don't like them.
But can I ruin one thing for you in this entire script that I think might change everything?
Yeah, what's up?
Possibly.
Okay.
So when I originally wrote this, the Pippa virus is their version of like the zombie apocalypse, except that it shortens everything, and instead of them, I guess, becoming mindless drones, they just die instead. So their only purpose in life is to pass on this virus, and then that's it. And then they're done, and then they die.
Yeah, it very much resembled, to me, the Resident Evil virus, the T virus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It reminds me of the 28 Days Later virus.
I've only seen the movie once.
You should watch it, yeah. It's crazy. Anyway.
I don't know if I want to.
It's also transferred by any bodily fluids. In 28 Days or 28 Weeks Later, that's the sequel, but that's also a pretty cool movie. Cool. Is there
I'm trying to think of what else.
anything else you want to add, or you want to add, because you know, is there anything in particular that like now you're reading it again, is there anything you want to explore specifically?
I'm not sure if there's anything I want to like explore per se, but after going through this, I kind of want to like revisit and just rewrite this whole thing just to see, I guess, what I can do with it now, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
Because there's
this podcast?
yes.
Did we help?
Well, you did. You
Oh my
helped
God.
so much. And
Wow.
also, I'm like curious because I'm listening, or as I was narrating it, I was also listening to the way that I write, or I guess my writing style has changed so much that it weirdly felt like I was going back in time to when I was like 12 and just reading it, and I'm like, oh my God, I was like, there's so much in here that personally I think is very terrible.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because of how I've evolved as a writer, where I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I could condense this or I could change it to make more sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to, go back and see like, oh man, this is terrible. I'm not even going to look at this again. But then it's one thing to, no, I can improve this, make it better. So I think that's good.
I think it'll be kind of interesting if I go back, rewrite the whole thing, and then maybe refilm the whole thing.
Hey.
And then see, like,
There you
do a
go.
comparison between first attempt versus
Knowledge behind it.
yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't, okay.
If you need a Walkman, I got one. Super rare.
For anyone that doesn't know what I do at the studio, I am an animator, and I don't know film as well as everyone else that we're going to be talking to and everyone else that works here at the studio. So, I'm a little naive when it comes to scripts because I don't write scripts. I do storyboards. That's my script. So that's how I interpret scripts. But I do know that Alyssa said at one point that camera moves shouldn't be in the script.
Correct.
Okay.
And that is the one thing that I remembered. Actually, as I was reading it, I was like, that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoopsie daisies.
Well, and it's like, it's whatever. That's what happens when you do it for the first time and then learn from it.
You know how like I kind of got onto rambling about like how script writing started to peeve me,
Yes.
piss
how
me off?
it's not what you were taught. Or well, the writing isn't what you were taught.
Well, listeners, what I'm getting at is that I read like a bunch of scripts like that, you know, I've written, or obviously, but like, or just any scripts that come through these doors, or friends' scripts. But I'm also reading scripts that, you know, Hollywood movies are, you know, getting produced from. And in terms of consistency, I think one of the things I also like actually found is that kind of does hold true. You don't put camera moves, but everything else is free game, I guess.
Well, okay,
you
so
know.
when you say anything else, what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
Well, when someone says, hey, you're not supposed to describe an action like someone slowly turns the doorknob. You should just say, he turns the doorknob. That's what I was taught, but I'm not finding that consistent with a lot of other scripts that, you know, are supposedly, I'm just going to go ahead and say that,
Yeah.
were made by, you know, professional screenwriters or whatever. So, like, I'm just going through my emotional journey or my script writing journey to understand what being a script writer like actually means, and what's fair, what's not fair, what's definitely you shouldn't do that, or feel free to explore and do other things.
There was something else that you said, emotion. You weren't like, you're not supposed to really put what the character is feeling,
like
right?
angrily or.
Well,
yeah,
no, there was something, I forget what script it was that we were. It was funny because at this point, Nero had already read a couple and he was like super annoyed by it. So like he turns around and is like, "This is stupid," and had me read what he was so mad about. I can't remember what script it was, but I do remember you saying this paragraph right here. It shouldn't have like what the person should be feeling or what you, the reader, should be feeling from this. It's like if it were a book instead of a script, I think is what it was.
Can I just jump off of that and say that I completely agree with those. Like, I have seen I've read a whole bunch of scripts where, yeah, you are describing what the character's feeling, and like you said, the slow moving door handle. And so I've also learned from that. And so scripts that I write now, like I will write two different scripts. So I will always write the script that I want, which is the one which has all the camera movements and all of the character feelings and all of that kind of thing, descriptions. And I think because I wrote that script just for me, that's okay. Because like I don't want to be hindered by like the quote unquote rules of screenwriting, but then I will go ahead and I will take that script and I will write a second one that takes out all of those like unnecessary details, things that should be more interpreted, I guess, by the person who's reading the script, or by your actor, or by your director, by anybody else. Yeah. And then you just keep the one that's meant for you. Yeah. I think just to have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, you never know what's going to happen with that script. You might 5 years, 10 years, whatever down the road be like, oh yeah, maybe I can actually make that into something. And then you already have half the work done for you as far as camera moves go.
To piggyback from that though, like I've became aware that there are different types of scripts. Like there's like the director's scripts, the script that actually has, like it's supposed to have the camera moves. So that in terms of my education, I went to Indiana University. I wasn't taught that. Like I wish I knew that there were different types of scripts. I know about script breakdowns and whatever, but to have scripts that what you said has those notes. To us in our world of being behind the camera, that's good for us because we visualize, we understand. But for a actor who's going to read the script, they don't need to know that. Maybe it might confuse them. Who knows? Yeah,
depending on if they're seasoned or not.
But I also just, another thing for the listeners is that I have started, or I tend to hide camera movement in my scripts because I'll just say, for example, we go through the window, now down the hallway to the, you're like, you're not saying the camera moves. You're just like, we're moving. We spin around and we see, that kind of stuff. Instead of saying the camera, maybe that's like a little on the nose, and just stick with, keeping it kind of hidden. Where I think it's important for the reader to understand the space and what we're supposed to look at. And that's kind of the reason why we write details like, she pulls out a recorder, we're supposed to look at that. We're supposed to see that. She's pulling out a recorder. Yeah. We
have to see our environment.
Yeah.
We have to know where we're going to be.
And where the characters are going to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes the camera's like off screen. The characters are off. Camera's off screen. We don't see shit.
We don't see anything. It's just white.
Lens cap is on. You know what? I want to do a whole movie with the lens cap on.
So it's just audio?
Just audio?
And music?
But how about I will take off the lens cap but still keep it there. So you catch only the rim of what's like, oh my
It's
God,
like
you're by an ocean, and then click. Like, you can't.
That should be a term.
Very experimental.
Film eclipsing or something like that.
Well, there's a technique where you light leak.
Oh,
where
yeah.
you put the lens in front of the sensor, but you don't attach it.
Yeah.
And you just, I'm moving my hand rapidly, audience.
Yeah.
Where you like let light in, then close it, and then.
That scares me. Only because it's like, I hate the fact that you have a lens just in your hand. What if you
drop it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't want to just drop your lens.
I also get like the horror stories that you'll burn out your sensor.
Yeah, that too.
I never seen it happen.
Actually, I haven't either. I know it's a precaution.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take that precaution of like, just keep my lens in my camera. Click real tight.
Your sensor's just gonna explode. It's gonna like look like a paper game burnt up.
Oh my God.
It's horrifying.
Ugh.
Cool. Well, is there any closing statements or anything else you wanted to talk about, or closing statements?
Please don't find this on YouTube.
Find Moniker on YouTube. I'm
It's
about
gonna
to do it. Like,
Yeah.
when I
How
get
long
home.
is it? Is it like 5 minutes?
No, I think it's maybe, I don't know. It's probably around 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
I think we were talking to. Okay, so this is just a filmmaker thing. I think we were talking to like a high schooler that was interested in like producing and directing and everything, or just a filmmaker life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that she did stuff like she did short films or whatever, but never released them. And we, like tried to. Oh my gosh, what's the word? I don't want to use the word coach. Encourage her to go ahead and put them out there, because if anything, you're allowing yourself to like put yourself out there and grow, and people can see. Maybe they like it. Maybe they want to help. It's part of the interaction and networking that you have stuff online. At least some losers don't have anything online. So it's like, who are they to say anything? You know what I mean? They have the courage to put things out.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there is that, but then there's also like, the fear of rejection, the fear of negativity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. But I mean, that's when, when you make newer things, you either learn from those critiques, depending on what they are, or just learn not to care. You make content for yourself, not for anybody else. So anyway, you're going to say something.
I think taking that first step of actually putting something online is extremely scary, but at the very least, you can say that you've done it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all of us have a film that we've done that's so terrible you never want it to see the light of day.
Correct.
But at least you can say that you've done it.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's why this is still online, is because for me, having it there is like a little bit important to me. I was saying like, okay, look at this shit that I've done. It's terrible. It's awful. But hey, if you fast forward to now and you see what I've done now, there is a significant change in what I've done.
Yeah.
And that you're growing and learning.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And that's the purpose of all of it is,
Yeah.
if you keep making shitty stuff, well, sorry, but you only get better the more that you want to get better.
You need that friction to start a fire.
Can't fight the
Yeah.
friction.
Can you imagine?
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is something that I started saying, I guess, is like every film, every movie is a victory for the cast, crew, and talent. Despite the hardships and stuff, if it's out there, it's just consider it a victory for yourself, and then move on to the next thing. But don't forget where you came from, obviously. But every victory.
I think I was talking to somebody yesterday,
Yeah.
and she was telling me that your first 8 films are gonna suck. And I was like, how about your first 12?
So you just gotta put out those numbers. You gotta keep. It's like I need to get past 12.
Yeah.
I need to get past 12 so I can make
then
good shit.
Yeah, so that at lucky number 13 will be the
Oh.
strike.
And then you could be like Quentin Tarantino's like, introducing Quentin Tarantino's 9th movie.
Yeah. Maybe you gotta do that too. Like, even though it's like a kind of a shitty thing, just put your name out there. My 9th film. Yeah, that's right. My 9th one. What are you gonna do about it? Like,
Yeah.
I've done plenty of things where I don't want my name on it,
yeah.
but like it is a step.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a small step, it's still a step. And then eventually, who knows where I'll be like a year from now, 2 years from now, etc.
Oh yeah.
As long as you feel like you're getting better, at least it's validation that you're out there,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
For sure.
Cool. Anything else?
I don't think
Don't
so.
forget our little closing little segment thingamajig right there.
Yes, this is when we open up the comments and feedback and critiques to the audience. You could send any feedback to info@arizonastudios.com, and you could also comment wherever you listen to the podcast, and tag us with @ArizonaStudios on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you have any feedback. I feel like I've said feedback a lot in the past, like
Feet back.
feedback.
I put my feet on the back. Feet back.
Or like make you give a massage where you have to like walk on their back.
Or
Oh
is that
yeah,
just,
my
like-
brother used to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother used to have me like pop his back by walking on it.
Okay, because my mom made me and my sister do that when we were kids, and I was kind of wondering if that was like
Oh no, that was okay.
okay.
Yeah. Feet back. Massages. Yeah, if you liked Kennedy's script, Moniker, please.
That's one thing we
please,
didn't do. We
please,
didn't
please.
actually like
What?
say in the beginning. I know we said it before we started reading, but
Oh, saying, hey, this is Moniker, written by Kennedi Martin. If they did. You mean that?
yes, that. We look forward to reading your feedback and comments on all of these scripts that we've read and talk about. So we will be back. No.
Next
like that.
time.
Next time on New Script on the Block.